Hi everyone, my name is Ray Moore, and well, I've been contemplating a long time whether to make this video or not, because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings and I don't want to break any paradigms or any structures or belief systems that people have been building upon. But the reason that I created this video is because I want to really explain to other people what it means to be a person living in the pranic living and what the guides actually don't want everyone to understand. And I think that there's a contradiction between what they don't want people to understand and what people really want to understand, and that will make 90% of the people that are afraid of the pranic living understand it better and understand that it's actually suitable for everyone because it's a frequency. Breatharian guides are actually people who are teaching the pranic initiation processes. Some of them are still doing it in the absolute way, the one that even Jasmine said that it's probably not the preferred method. It's called the 21 day. Today I teach a pranic living initiation in my own way and out of my own experience, doing it more of a balance between the mental, physical, emotional, so everything has to be worked on and everything has to be cleaned up, and the focus is on the preparation itself. Breatharian guides are really uncommon. I only know of a few, 5 or 6 of us. I know Henry Monfort, and I know Victor Trubiani and Jasmine, and every one of us has created his own different process. Everyone focuses on a different thing. But there's a few things that are very common for most of the Breatharian guides. And I want to talk about the things that Breatharian guides don't necessarily want to share with other people, don't want other people to know. And one of those things is that the process itself might be easy for some people, might be hard. It's not that long, you know, just a week or week and a half. But after that, life can become overwhelming. Struggles of the ego, struggles of old programming, old eating patterns, meaning where food has come into your life to help you in some way. Sometimes it's food from your childhood. Struggles with society, struggles with oneself, resistance that has been building up, feeling that you are alienated from society, feeling that you are left alone in some way, that people don't really understand you. All those things can come after the process, and those things are making you stronger. They're making you more powerful than before. Like, you know, everything that has happened negative in your life has made you stronger eventually when you retroactively look back at it. But these are the struggles that a lot of Breatharian guides, they don't really want to share because they want other people to join this type of lifestyle. And it's true. I believe that that people like me, like you, or like people that are very interested in it, they're here an inner calling to do this sort of thing, and they understand that it's going to come, especially in the beginning, with big changes. But big changes in the frequency of the human body actually bring big changes in the frequency of the spiritual body and the emotional body as well. So whatever it is that a person thought is going to learn over a course of 10 years, suddenly is summarized and compressed into something like 6 months. So the karma changes, the person changes, and this is one of the most difficult things that I think that a lot of guides are kind of like hiding, because afterwards the success rates, they fluctuate. It really depends on the person. A lot of people in the first month or 2 months after the physical struggle is finished or is behind them and they feel 100% themselves, which usually takes just like a week or 2, then they go into the emotional struggle, which is much more difficult. And after a month or 2 months, some people will go back to it normally. So they've learned everything that they want to learn from the experience itself. They understand it's like riding a bicycle. You can always go back to the same place. But after that, some people do go back to the way they ate before, and some people will continue with it, and something has changed dramatically in their sensation, in their body. Doesn't matter if they eat or don't eat. The relationship with food, with physical and energetic nourishment and their higher self has changed forever. So this is just one of the things. Guides never talk about the fact that they're eating. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that they're depending on food. It doesn't mean that they eat every day. It means that occasionally they eat. But then when somebody asks them, you know, but Breatharian is supposed to be a person that doesn't eat and doesn't drink, which is a fabrication, because I know I've taught 500 Breatharians, and all of them occasionally eat, all of them drink, and it's okay. They're just not as dependent. So when you ask a guy, they say, oh yes, I just occasionally enjoy a fruit here and there. And it's like, it's explaining it, it's like not being in harmony with it. If you're a guide like me, be in harmony. So for the first year of my life as a breatharian, I didn't eat. I just drank some juice and I played the mind games that came with it and the resistance, and it was hard because breatharian guides, especially in the West, I'm not talking about the ones in India and stuff, we have lives, we have families, we have stress, we have work, we're grounded people. At least some of us are. So that means that we have all the things that we have strain on our life, meaning even if we get to that high frequency, it's hard for us to keep it all the time. For that, you can have food. Food can be grounding, food can be for social reason, food is just for joy. So you have to understand, breatharians or pranic living people, they do eat. They just eat significantly less than other people, and they're not dependent on it, meaning most of the minerals, everything that their body needs comes from the prana. All they did is change the engine, meaning from an engine that is mostly about food and physical nutrition, and less about emotional and prana or chi nutrition, which most people do have, but they're just using it very, very lightly. Like when you're in love or when you're working on a project that keeps you in the present moment, then suddenly that engine grows bigger and you don't feel hungry that much. So they just switch the engines. Now the engine, the primary engine, is the chi. And it's not that hard to activate it. The problem is consistently and persisting with it and changing your life so you will retain this high vibrational energy all the time, meaning that it will nourish you. So opening it up, it takes just like a week and a half in a workshop or in a very neutral environment, and there's guidelines for that. But to retain that, to sustain that, will take much more of your journey, much more of the work that you need to do. So this is one of the things that Breatharian guides really, they don't want to talk about it. It's like they're like resisting that type of question because it makes obvious sense to them that, yeah, maybe they can live 100% without food and water. Maybe. I haven't reached that level. I haven't tried. When I asked Bashar in the channeling session of how to build the ultimate process, the ultimate initiation for Breatharians, one of the questions was, can I become a 100% free? And he said, do you want to? And I said, only if it will help the human race evolve. He said, yes, but do you want to? I said, no, not really. I enjoy taste occasionally, and I don't want to give it up. And I believe that most of my students also want all the advantages of the pranic living and not have the disadvantages of having too much toxins from food. And he said, well, that's what you're going to get. And just so you know, he said, it's not in your future to do something like that. There's no reason for you. It's your spiritual ego that wants to go all the way so you can prove to others. And he told me, you have already proven everything that you need to prove. So forget about it. And that kind of like took a huge rock out of my heart. Said, you know something? He's right. We don't need to prove anything to anyone. Yeah, you can go a few months without food to prove to yourself and to break the programming that you used to have. But after that, go back, eat occasionally, enjoy both worlds. Why not? And that's the first thing that Breatharian teachers don't want you to see, don't want you to understand. And that, unfortunately, creates a misunderstanding about what Breatharians are. Because science needs everything to be completely black or white. So most people think of Breatharian, he doesn't eat or doesn't drink. It's not true. They do. And it's about the balance. And it's not really about the food. It's more about reaching and understanding, because the physical body needs to change a little bit, but the brain, the belief system needs to change. You need to change a lot from what you think food is and the different sources of nourishment a person can have, which is way, way beyond. It's way beyond water, it's way beyond just air, it's way beyond sexual energy, it's way beyond nature. It is divine, universal energy that one can really, really use. The second thing that Breatharian teachers don't want you to understand is how easy it can be. Why? Because our spiritual ego wants us to make us feel like we are more unique, that we have the information. And it's true in some way, because over the course of a few years, a person really collects a lot of experience, and therefore he can teach that experience way beyond. But to transform yourself, it's easier than what most people will want you to believe. Of course, the old guidelines, they're obsolete right now. We don't really support them anymore because we see that the group structure, the group intention, the different vibrations of the planet that has changed allow people to transform much faster if they do it in the right way. So that's another thing that a lot of people just don't understand. Everybody is suitable for this if you hear an inner calling.